Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diving Magazine channel, your favourite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. Today I'm taking a closer look at the Tecline TEC1 R2 regulator combination to see just how good they are. This exact set is the 1005-2 set that includes the TEC1 Octo, and it has a double gauge as well in this complete regulator set. It is basically a complete set of single back mount regulators. All you need to add is your BCD and your dry suit hose, which come with your BCD and dry suit anyway when they're brand new. These are a cold water regulator with a greater than 4 degrees EN250 rating, and they're a very versatile regulator design thanks to its swivel turret. The R2 first stage is a balanced diaphragm design, so it delivers a constant breathing experience at any depth, and the diaphragm designs make them a lot more simple and easy to maintain. The environmental seal on one end is a soft seal that allows the first stage to balance against the water pressure around you, but it also prevents salt water and other contaminants and stuff from getting into the working parts of the first stage, so that's nice to see. 2 high pressure ports on the midsection of the first stage and 4 angled ports around the swiveling turret on one side. The high pressure ports are fixed, but the low pressure ports, they can rotate. It won't rotate a full 360 degrees when you have hoses attached onto it, but you do get a bit of flexibility when you're routing the hoses. And if you want, there's also a separate 5th port expansion kit, which is sold separately, so you can have an extra 5th port coming out of the top here. Light and flexible braided ProFlex hoses connect each of the second stages, and a tough, reliable rubber high pressure hose connects the pressure gauge console. The TEC1 second stage is a very similar design to the TEC2, but instead of a stainless steel ring around the bezel, the TEC1 has an aluminium ring to help save some weight. The second stage weighs in at about 284 grams, so that's about 50 grams more than XTX 50, and the TEC1 doesn't have the direct flow system which is featured in the TEC2, but all that really means is that in the other model, the TEC2, the airflow is angled directly into the mouthpiece, whereas in this one, the TEC1, it has an extra little deflector fin on the inside to help direct airflow. Most divers won't really notice the difference, so if you're weighing up between those two and you see the DFC, don't worry too much about it. The main difference is in the weight. The TEC1 is a bit heavier compared to the TEC2. The second stage has adjustable venturi to improve airflow and interrupt free flows when you're on the surface, as well as a dial of breath to make it a bit easier or harder to open the valve. So let's see how they arrive and what comes with them. This is how it arrives in a plastic bag with some Tecline tape. Inside of which we have a circular, yeah, that's a circle. Sorry, I thought it was a hexagon for a second there. A circular regulator bag. You've got a grab handle at the top. There's a little ID window as well, so you can put your ID inside of that. Removable, adjustable shoulder strap with a pad, and Tecline logo on the front. It's just plain black on the back. And then the zipper is somewhere. Double zipper. Inside the regulator bag, you get the obligatory book of words, just information about the regulators, how to look after them. There's also a servicing schedule as well, which is quite nice to keep that all organized. You get your alternate, your octopus, the braided hose. So the Octo is attached to the first stage, as is the primary. The double gauge is not, so you have to fit that yourself, but that's not too hard. It gets a thread protector cap, and then on the inside of the regulator bag you get these Velcro loops, so you can kind of loop them up and really hold them securely on the inside so they're not going to move around too much inside of the bag. It does have some padding around the sides, on the bottom and in the top. And the top itself, this lid, has a little zippered pouch. So that's probably about that size. So just spare bits and bobs. The odd tool, your port plugs that you're replacing, is quite handy to have some of them quite close, and replacement O-rings, just small spares that you want to keep with your regulators. So let's get rid of this, this bubble wrap and take a closer look. So taking a closer look at the regulators themselves, starting off with the first stage. So the first stage is a 4-port swivel turret. So the 4 low pressure ports that you attach your second stages and your low pressure inflator hoses to, that's on a swiveling turret. Now the turret itself can rotate 360 degrees. However, when you fit a hose to them, it kind of bumps up against the din wheel. So it's not true full 360 when you actually have hoses attached, but it does allow a bit more like customization when you're adjusting the hose routing. If it would be a little bit less like torque and force on the hose, if it was angled like that, it can do that. And in the water, when it's pressurized, it will still do that. 2 high pressure ports, one on the left, one on the right. This is environmentally sealed at the bottom, the little environmental seal, but that still allows it to balance the parts on the inside. Comes with a DIN dust cap that you can unscrew. It's got a lanyard as well, so you can either attach that onto one of the hoses so you don't lose it, or you can do whatever you want with that. Very reminiscent of the Apex DST, which is by far a bad thing. I've dived the DST many times, and yeah, it's a good looking, good hard working, very simple first stage that gets the job done. Braided hoses on both of your second stages, but the high pressure hose for your gauges is a traditional rubber hose. The braided hoses are a lot lighter, so better for travel. They're also a bit more flexible as well, and yeah, they come in lots of different colors, but in this case it comes with black for the primary and then a bright sort of vibrant yellow for your alternate. Looking at the primary second stage first. So low pressure hose comes in. You've got a little blank here, which can be used if you're attaching a small bolt snap onto that. You can tie it on there, and it's just a really convenient place. Heat exchanger fins coming in, so that's going to help improve the cold water performance. It just basically warms that valve up so it's less likely to freeze up, especially when you're diving in colder waters. Lightweight polymer body. I wouldn't call it a light second stage, but because of that polymer, it just makes it a lot lighter than the metal ones. So this has the aluminium front ring, which is, it just helps to protect from like distortions and like damage if you're dragging it along the deck of a boat for whatever reason. But it's aluminium, so it's a bit lighter than the stainless steel that you get on the other second stage design. The whole front cover is a soft plastic purge button, so very easy to find that even with gloved hands. Wherever you're pushing on it, you're going to get that lever on the inside. 2 adjustments on this. You get the venturi, which is useful to interrupt a free flow or to promote better airflow on the inside of the second stage, and you got your dial a breath as well to make it a little bit harder to breathe from, or you dial it out to make it a bit easier to breathe from. Usually you have the alternate, your octo, dialed all the way in, so it's less likely to free flow, but on the second stage that you're breathing from, you dial it out, so it's a lot lighter to breathe from. The mouthpiece itself, again, quite reminiscent of the Apex Aqualung Comfort mouthpiece. You've got this little bridge across the top, so it kind of holds it in your mouth a little bit easier. You don't have to bite down, so you're less likely to get jaw fatigue from having to really bear down to hold it in your mouth. This little bridge just kind of sits behind your teeth and just holds it there without having to bite down on it. It's also a bit shorter and stubbier compared to some second stage mouthpiece designs, so it doesn't go all the way back to your molars. Some people aren't a fan of that because it's getting like right in there in your mouth. The exhaust tee is quite big on this, especially like vertically, is a lot larger than some others, and this is a rigid polymer, so a lot of them nowadays are they're made out of a softer material, so it kind of bends and flexes, but this is solid. But yeah, that helps to deflect bubbles well away from your face so it doesn't come up in front of your mask. Your alternate is very much the same in design, other than it has this bright yellow, like day glow yellow finish to it. You still get the dialer breath and the adjustable venturi, the same Comfo Bite-esque mouthpiece, heat exchanger fins, the big easy to find purge button. Everything about that is pretty much exactly the same except for the yellow coloration, and they're usually set up a little bit stiffer, again just to help the prevent them from free flowing. The gauges, pretty traditional 2-gauge double gauge. You've got your depth and your pressure. It's quite chunky, which makes me feel like it's a brass and glass. It's got tempered glass on the front, and they do glow in the dark, so just makes it a lot easier for you to read them in low light conditions. Traditional depth gauge, you've got an adjustment as well, so you can calibrate them, which is nice to see, and then a maximum depth needle, so you can reset that after every dive, and it's nice and easy. Some are quite hard to do. You almost need a flathead screwdriver to adjust them, but you can do this one just with your finger, and the boot itself, gosh, truth is rock hard, so they're well protected on the inside. 2 attachment points at the top, so you can attach a D-ring onto that. Otherwise, yeah, that's the whole Regulator fully assembled. So who's the R2 TEC1 Regulator for? It's really made for a range of divers. As usual, you can use the same regulator for a range of different diving, but it's, as the tech in the name suggests, it's more aimed at the advanced diver who wants a tough regulator to keep up with them, especially in colder waters. In this exact setup, it's a strong foundation for a single cylinder setup. All you need to do is add a BCD and a dry suit hose, and you're ready to go, basically. It's a really nice regulator to breathe. It's a nice smooth breathe. The second stage is quite heavy in the mouth in spite of its aluminium parts. I found that the exhaust tee was kind of resting on my chin whilst I'm breathing from it. So it's far from a lightweight travel regulator, but it's not really advertised as one. It's not made to be lightweight, it's made to be tough. It's really well put together. It feels nice and solid as well. It feels like a regulator that's going to outlast me. It feels so tough, and it has quite retro vibes to it, in my opinion. The gauges, for example, they're quite big and clunky, as is the exhaust tee on the second stage, but it feels like a really strong workhorse kind of regulator, something you can just stow away in your kit bag and pull out and it's ready to go. The whole set has an RRP of around 555 euros, which is about 480 pounds, depending on the exchange rate, which is a really competitive price. And that's going to be the main selling point for these. You get a lot of regulators for what you're paying, and you get a complete set of regulators with a double gauge as well. For more information, because it does come in different configurations as well, you can buy the individual components, or you can buy it as sets like this one. You can head over to their website, teclinediving.eu, and of course find a local Tecline dealer to check out the rest of the Tecline range of equipment. And you can always check out our website, scubadivingmag.com, for the latest scuba diving news and reviews, and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube if you're new to the channel. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.